The West Virginia Mountaineers, the same team that I had predicted to go 1-11 earlier this year. Look, if you're watching on YouTube, there it is. I had them losing to Penn State, which, look, okay, bear with me. In hindsight, they did lose to Penn State. They beat Duquesne, right? So the rest of the way, I did have them going 1-11. Pitt preseason seemed pretty tough. They won that game. Texas Tech also tough. West Virginia won that game. At TCU, they won that game. Then they had the Houston game with the Hail Mary, and then Oklahoma State, then UCF, and BYU, and Oklahoma, Cincinnati, Baylor. I had them losing all of these games, but West Virginia ended up being not just a dark horse in the Big 12, but a true contender down the stretch, and they won a bowl game. When I tell you this, and look. Here, can we have a transparent conversation? If you're a West Virginia fan, if you're a fan of any other team in the Big 12, this does apply to you because the Big 12 coaching carousel applies to everybody. I thought Neal Brown was a dead man walking and that he was going to get fired at the end of the season, if not during the season. And guess what? You thought that too. Don't pretend you didn't. You thought that too. You also thought West Virginia was not going to be good. And they were. And they won a bowl game. They beat the brakes off North Carolina. There is a possibility that West Virginia fires Neal Brown after next offseason. I know a lot of West Virginia fans have been talking about that. What are the odds that maybe they fire Neal Brown at the end of next year? That's when the wheels fall off to the point where Neal Brown's got to go. But, brother, I got to be honest with you. With names like Garrett Greene, Jahiem White, and Hudson Clement in the mix here, I'm going to pick out those three guys specifically. With those three guys in the mix here, if you hate Neal Brown, if you want Neal Brown fired, no one has had a worse record at West Virginia since the 1970s, and that's why I was begging for him to go preseason. If you're in that camp that says Neal's got to go, Neal's got a lot coming back. Neal's got a lot to work with after a 30-10 win against North Carolina, and guess what? They're going to give you excuse. Yeah. We had some players opt out. They didn't want to play. We had some players in the transfer portal. They go portal. They didn't really want to play and everything. We had some guys that my bowl game didn't matter. Duke's Mayo Bowl. We already won it. All right. Damn, Drake Mayo have a quarterback for us. That's what it sounds like when I hear these excuses for a team that loses a bowl game 30-10. West Virginia, the same team that the Big 12 media picked to finish last in this conference, finishes 9-4 this season. Neal Brown pulls off a magic act and not just wins the Duke's Mayo Bowl and gets mayonnaise, bathed, and showered and all that, but also puts the rest of the Big 12 on watch because this team's got a whole lot coming back next season, and you might hate it. Here's the best way I can describe Neal Brown. See if you agree with this. Neal, if you're listening, I love you. Ish. Every time I start to believe in Neal Brown, it happened in this game, it happened going into that Houston game, it happened in that Oklahoma game. Every time you start, there's a sliver of belief. Something happens, something breaks Neal Brown's way, and you think, maybe Neal Brown completely figured it out. He finds a way to kind of crap all over it pretty quickly. Like, you know what? Now I'm trusting the climb. Now I believe. And then the next possession, it's like 3rd and 3, and there's just a pitch deep into the backfield. Like, Neal, do you have control of this team? Or something happens, they're going to be good. They lose to Houston on a Hail Mary. It's like, Neal, do you have control of this team? I don't know how to describe it, but he is so good at making me actually trust the climb and then pulling the climb right out from underneath me. But Neal, he's lovable too, man. You can't deny that. He's a lovable guy. And he's winning games. Neal, I'm sorry. West Virginia fans, I'm sorry for doubting Neal Brown. And if you're a West Virginia fan and you doubted Neal Brown, you need to tell him sorry as well. Because he did it. Not only did he win a bowl game, he went 9 wins this season with that West Virginia team that lost like every receiver or corner or something, and all the coaches and everybody's leaving, and then he just won games in spite of that. I picked TCU to go 1-11 in 2022. I picked West Virginia to go 1-11 in 2023. Maybe it's your team that I picked to go 1-11 next year, and they will inevitably get so close to double-digit wins and maybe even go to a national championship. West Virginia, congratulations. I cannot be happier for this conference. I couldn't be happier for you. The Big 12 was dominating bowl season, and you're part of that. Thank you. Thank you, Neal Brown. I never thought I'd be here on December 29th saying thank you, Neal Brown. This has been, it always will be. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Locked on. Thanks again for making it your first listen every single day. We'll see you tomorrow and every other day after that. I love you guys. Dulce Grande.